My grandson called me at pukul 5 in the morning and said, "Grandma, whatever you do, don't wear your red coat today." He was surprised. "Why?" His voice trembled as he answered. "You'll understand soon." At pukul 9 in the morning, he headed out to the stop to catch the county bus. But the moment he reached the spot, he froze. What he saw sent a shockwave through me. The phone rang precisely at pukul 5 am. He knew the time exactly because he was already awake. He was sitting in my old rocking chair by the window in the dark, listening to the wood frame house creak, the furnace cooling, and the night slowly giving way to a gray dawn. At 63, sleep doesn't come all at once. It falls in pieces, like bread broken by hand instead of being sliced. The screen lit up in the dim light. Galani, my heart plummeted. My grandson doesn't call at this hour ever. He held the receiver to my ear. "What happened, baby?" His voice was shaky. "Grandma, please just listen to me, okay?" He felt an immediate clenching in my gut. Not panic, but something worse. That feeling when you know something serious is happening, but you don't have the words yet. "Talk to me," he said softly. "I'm listening. Don't wear the red coat today, please. Wear anything else, just not that one. Promise me." He automatically glanced at the coat rack by the door. Hanging there was my favorite bright red quilted coat, the one he had bought 3 years ago downtown in Baltimore. It was expensive, more than a senior citizen should spend, he told myself. But it was visible on the highway, visible on the back roads in the dark winter. At least it felt safe. "Galani, what are you talking about?" he asked. "Since when is a coat dangerous?" "Just promise me," he interrupted. "Please, Grandma, don't ask. Not today. Promise me." "Galani, you're scaring me. Where are you? Are you all right?" A short pause. He heard a noise through the phone. It wasn't the house, the kitchen, or the television. It sounded like water nearby. A heavy echoing sound. "He can't explain. You'll understand soon. Just don't wear that red coat, okay?" His voice broke. "I love you." The line shut off. He sat for a while longer, the phone against my ear, and then slowly lowered my hand and he looked at that bright red spot by the door again. The house felt different, as if something had been twisted half a turn. Outside, the first crow started calling. A passing pickup truck rumbled by. The night gloom was slowly being diluted by gray. He didn't wear the red coat. He pulled out my old brown denim jacket, the one he usually wore when he go out to the yard or the tool shed. The elbows are worn. The zipper catches, but it's familiar. He did exactly what Galani had said. We as grandmothers have this stubborn instinctual feeling. If a child or grandchild asked something like that, it's not made up. By pukul 9, he was out. He walked the familiar dirt path from the house to the state highway. For 5 years, the intercity code, which runs from our rural community to the county seat, has stopped at the band. Tuesdays and Fridays are my routine. The bus at jam 9:15 am, to the farmer's market, the pharmacy, the community clinic, home by dark. I haven't kept a second car since my husband passed. I don't need one. My world is scheduled like clockwork. But that day, the bus wasn't there. From a distance, I saw the flashing lights. 4 cars, red and blue strobes, tore at the early morning. The wind flapped the yellow tape stretched across our shelter at the bus stop. 3 walls of old corrugated iron where we usually sat, discussing the price of sweet potatoes and our blood pressure. I stopped dead in my tracks. A tall man in a uniform walked quickly toward me. "Miss Zora, you can't go any further." He held up his hand. "Sergeant," he whispered, sighing. "What in the world are you doing out here this early?" Sergeant Malik Adaro, our county police chief, my high school classmate from over 40 years ago. The same squint, just more wrinkles now. "Zora, there won't be a bus today," he said quietly. "No more bus." He looked at my watch mechanically. "I have the market. I need my medication. There's been an incident," he said. He stumbled over the words, looking back at the people in white hazmat suits walking across the snow. "What kind of incident?" he asked. My voice was still steady. "A body was found around pukul 6 this morning." The words seemed to tilt slightly. "A body? Who?" No more official ID yet. He looked at me again, no more longer as an old friend, but as an investigator. But Zora, she was wearing a red coat, bright red, the spitting image of years. My legs gave way. He managed to catch my elbow and he guided me into the front seat of his police cruiser. From inside, he could see the tape. The people, a white bag by the shelter, right where he always stand, where he should have been standing today. Are you okay? He asked. Wait, Isaid, Malik. Galani called me at pukul 5 am. He told me not to wear the red coat. He said that exactly. Malik's face changed. In an instant, the neighbor's expression became stern, focused. Repeat that verbatim, he requested. He repeated everything. How the phone lit up, what he asked, how he hung up. Malik pulled out a small notepad and he started writing. Where is Galani right now? He asked. I don't know. He didn't say he should be at my son Akono's place in the city, living with him and his wife Naima. He's going to community college, sir. Andy done something pricked me in the chest. Was he sure? When was the last time he saw him? In the same professional tone, Malik continued. Sunday we had dinner like always. He paused. Everything seemed normal. But lately at the dinner table, things had been tense. My son, Akono, had been saying, Mom, you can't handle things alone. Let's move you to the city. We'll sell the house, buy you a condo closer to US. Andy Naima would sweetly nod along, unfolding her real estate brochures, showing charts and the figures. It's beneficial. It's sensible. You'll be in the black. He listened and he felt it. They weren't talking about me. They were talking about my land, about our home, the one where my late husband Elijah built the walls with his own hands, where Galani ran barefoot through the grass. Miss Zora, a woman in a severe blazer, approached. Her hair was pulled back, her gaze sharp. Detective Opal Washington, County Investigation Unit. They told me you have some information. He repeated the story of the phone call. She nodded, asked for Galani's number and his city address. Like an idiot, he told her everything. They tried to call him right then. Subscriber unavailable. Malik's radio crackled. He turned away to listen. He saw his face darken.
Say that name again, he demanded into the radio. Then he slowly turned back to me. Zora, the woman has been identified. It's Lana Tamaro. She worked at the county recorder's office in the city. He paused. Andy, they found documents in the pocket of her coat. A deed for your house, Andy Lynn. What? He asked very quietly. An official deed of gift signed over to Akono and Naima. Dated 1 month ago with your signature. It's already registered. He gripped the car door handle so tightly my knuckles turned white. Malik? Are you out of your mind? My voice was muffled, not screamed. He would never willingly give that away. The house, the garden, everything. Never. The signature is a very close match. He sighed cautiously. The document passed through the county assessment center. Everything is clean on paper. I closed my eyes. Naima's image flashed in my mind. Sunday. She was spreading some papers in front of me, right over my greens. This is insurance. This is the medical card. This is consent form. Sign here and here. He was tired. Honestly, he had left my reading glasses inside. Oh, it's just a formality. Mom, he filled everything else out. Aonoa was silent next to her, just nodding. He signed. He trusted them. He opened my eyes. They could have gotten a signature sample from some old paper of mine. Zora, Malik spoke gently but firmly. We need to sort this out. I'm not accusing you, but we have a baddie, a woman in a red coat at your bus stop, a deed for your house in her pocket, and your grandson, who warned you at pukul 5 am, is now unreachable. Do you understand how this looks from the outside? He understood, and it felt colder than the February wine. What happens next? He asked. Next, you come with me to the precinct. You give a proper statement. We'll look for Galani and we'll figure out how Rana Tamaro got your deed. He was about to get out of the car when he noticed headlights out of the corner of my eye. A dark blue foreign car was parked further down the road past the line of trees. The engine was running and the exhaust plumed in the cold air. Inside, behind the wheel, was Naima. My daughter-in-law was looking like the US. She wasn't waving or smiling. She was just sitting and watching. Her face was calm, almost empty, and in the calmness was something called alien. Then she shifted into drive and quietly pulled away. He watched her go, and he suddenly understood two things very clearly. First, it could easily have been the one under the white bag. And the second, someone was going to be extremely unhappy that he was still alive. Malik? He sighed quietly, still looking at the empty road. I think you know who I need to ask about this deed, but you might not like the answer. We drove quickly to the precinct. The building was irritatingly familiar. Gray brick, peeling paint, a perpetually cracked window pane by the entrance. I'd only been here a couple of times in my life. A report for a stolen tiller, and when he renewed my hunting license. walking in as a witness to a murder. I honestly didn't expect that. They led me into a room with poly green walls and a hazy mirror. I sat at a table. Opal Washington sat opposite me, dry, composed, with watchful eyes. They placed a recording device between us. Miss Sora, she began calmly once more from the moment the phone rang at pukul 5 a.m. He repeated everything, and as he listened to my own words, he suddenly remembered a detail that had previously slipped by. There was a noise, he sighed. Not in a house. No more clanking dishes, no more TV. It sounded like water, maybe a creek nearby or a loud pipe, not an apartment. She nodded, making a note. Your grandson is ke-19. Has he been in trouble before? No more. He answered immediately. He doesn't drink. He doesn't wander. He's studying at the tech school, working part-time at the home improvement store. A good kid. His relationship with his parents. He hesitated. Airing family laundry in front of strangers is always hard. But this wasn't about pride anymore. With his father, Akono. It's soft. Akono is gentle, always referring back to his job. He's rarely home. But with Naima, he sighed. She's one of those who likes to decide for everyone. My house has been a thorn in her side for a long time. Sell it all. Sign the papers. Do the smart thing. Gilani argued with her more than once. He's fiercely protective of the house and the land. And she thinks I'm getting in the way of her life. So, there was a conflict concerning your property? Opal summarized dryly. He clasped my hands in my lap. Yes, but that's no more reason to kill people. A knock came at the door. Malik entered, his face tired. Sora? He sighed. Your son is here and the lawyer. He just smirked. They work fast. Let him in. Akono burst into the room, agitated, wearing an expensive coat. His eyes red and rumpled. Behind him, Atin, slick man in a nice suit. Mom, Akono started immediately. Are you okay? What did they ask? Don't sign anything. This is Preston Minton. The man introduced himself. Tatorni. Miss Sora, I strongly recommend you do not give any statements without legal counsel until the situation is clarified. Whose lawyer? He asked calmly. Why not everyone's at once? He smiled professionally vacantly. He represent the family's interests. Malik and the Opal exchanged a look. Opal turned off the recorder. Miss Sora is free to go. She sighed, but we will be calling you back. We need to establish how Ranata Demaro obtained your deed and where your grandson is. In the hallway, Minton immediately started whispering. Oh no fuss, let's go home. Mom, don't answer them anymore. They can twist anything you say. He stopped in the middle of the stairs. Akono? He turned to him. How did you find out about the deed? The one for the house and the land. He blinked. What deed? The one where he supposedly gifted everything to you and your Naima a month ago. He went pale. Mom, I'm hearing this for the first time. Wait. He chewed himself off. Naima did say something about processing papers, about realtors, how it would simplify things. But for it to be, he fell silent, and he could see the understanding dawning on his face. You can think about it on the way. He sighed. Let's go. He drove me home in his SUV. Minton spent the whole drive talking about how the investigation was considering various possibilities, and how he needed to calm my nerves. He listened vaguely, watching the snowdrifts and the familiar tree lines outside the window. Something else was important to me now, whose interests were so quick to shut me up. As we pulled into the driveway, the answer was sitting right by the porch. Naima's white Lexus gleaming amidst the dirty snow. What is she doing here? Akono gasped, practically running into the house. He followed him. In the kitchen, Naima was standing by my old document cabinet, cold, neat, in a perfectly fitted coat with her hair perfectly done. She was rifling through my folders. What are you doing here? Akono demanded. She flinched, but quickly composed herself. Akono, don't shout. I'm looking at papers. We need to help Mom sort this out. It's absolute chaos in here. Those are my papers, he sighed quietly, stepping closer, from my cabinet, which he didn't ask you to open. Miss Sora, don't start. She smiled. We have an emergency. They're trying to pin some ridiculous story on you. You need to quickly find what will protect you. You work in real estate. You understand this. How did you forge my deed? He asked directly. The smile slid off. For a second, something had flashed in her eyes, but she immediately put the mask back on. Are you insane? Her voice turned sharp. How can you say such a thing? All I've done is look out for you, offering sensible options, trying to make your life easier. Making it easier by kicking me out of my own home. He asked. That's a nice way to put it. This house is falling apart. Naima exploded. The land is a burden. You can't handle it. We could have sold the lot for good money. But you are condo in the city. Given Akono a head start. But no more. Stubbornness principles. We are all prisoners of your emotions. Answer the question normally. Akono interrupted her coldly. Did you know about the deed? Did you see it? I saw it. She sighed, lifting her chin. I was at the records office this morning. I checked. Everything is lawful. The gift deed is processed. The signature is notarized. All the stamps are there. Believe it or not, you signed it yourself. If you don't remember, that's another issue. How do you know the legality so intimately? I asked. Because it's my job, Miss Sora, she answered dryly. Unlike you, I read what he signed. And yes, legally, if a document is properly notarized, saying you didn't understand is not an argument. The court doesn't care. Get out of my house, I sighed calmly. What? She repeated as if she hadn't heard me. Leave the key and get out now. She narrowed her eyes. This is still my house. By the way, officially it's already signed over to Akono and me, even if you weren't aware. Naima. Akono whispered. What are you saying? I'm telling the truth. She shrugged. Fine, I'll go. But remember, what is signed cannot usually be undone. And when you need help, it will be too late. She turned, walked past me so close that I could smell her expensive perfume. At the threshold, she turned back, a slight smile on the corner of her lips. Andy, for future reference, before you accuse me of forgery, remember that everything can be verified. Who really has issues with memory and competence is still an open question. She slammed the door. Aono sank into a chair. Mom, he sighed Deli. I really didn't know. She never showed me anything specific. Just I'll handle everything. I'll sort it out. I believed her like an idiot. I looked at my grown son, already graying in places, and I saw the boy who always hid behind someone else's back. It's late, but better than never. I sighed. This isn't about who is guilty right now. This is about what to do. The phone on the table vibrated. Unknown number. I answered. Grandma, I'm sorry. I didn't know it would go this far. Meet me at the old mill on Clear Creek at midnight. Come alone. You're being watched. At the bottom, a postscript. Remember our strawberry summer. I felt a coldness inside, but at the same time, clarity. Strawberry summer. When Galani was 7, we planted a huge strawberry patch behind the house. The harvest was so plentiful. We ate ourselves sick, sitting together with a big metal bowl until both of us felt ill. Since then, it was our joke, our code. Strawberry summer meant it was real. It was serious. He showed the message to Akono. You're not going. He immediately sighed. Mom, that could be anyone. A trap. We'll tell Malik. The message clearly states. Alone. He sighed. Andy, you're being watched. If Galani is alive and wrote this, he's truly in trouble. If it's not him, all the more reason to find out. I'm going with you, stubborn as he am. No more. I shut him off. You've gone along with other people's decisions your whole life. You sit this one out. If I'm not back by morning, you go to Malik and tell him everything. But don't you dare interfere now. He looked at me like a child left alone in the dark. Akono. I sighed quietly. I've handled things on my own my whole life. I can do it now. Andy Galani, he may have saved my life today. Midnight was still far off. I sat in silence, listening to the wind shuffle outside the wall. A distant dog barking. I called Galani's number a few times. Subscriber unavailable. Naima's words, Ranata's face in the red coat, Malik's gaze, they spun in my head. At jam 11:30, I put on the brown jacket, grabbed a flashlight and did the keys to my old Chevrolet Tracker. It was dark in the yard. The snow was gray and crunchy underfoot. I started the engine and drove onto the road. My headlights shot through the darkness, illuminating bushes, a leaning utility pole, a familiar sign. A couple of miles down the road, foreign taillights flashed in my mirror. A car was following me, not overtaking, not falling behind, keeping a distance as if measured with a ruler. Not too close, not too far. It slowed down. It slowed down. It sped up. It did, too. This wasn't some nosy neighbor. This is how people who know what they're doing drive. You're being watched. I remembered Glanny's text. 10 minutes before the turnoff for the mill, I made a decision. To the light. An old logging road we used to take when Elijah went deer hunting disappeared into the woods. I knew every bend, every pothole. I turned off my lights and I swerved abruptly onto the dirt track. The tracker slipped in the ruts. Branches scraped the doors. I drove almost blind by memory. My heart pounded, but my hands were steady. Behind me, on the highway, the foreign headlights swept past, not yet realizing he was gone. It didn't stop. It burst onto the old exit to the secondary road, only then turning on my headlights and looking around. Empty. The Clear Creek Mill. I approached it from the other side, circumventing the main road. It was already jam 12:15. The old 4-story behemoth loomed deck above the river. Black gaps for windows, a sagging staircase, snow drifts up to my knees. The river roared somewhere below, heavy and wintry. It shut the engine. It got out. The cold air burned my lungs. My flashlight beam slashed across the walls, across the graffiti, across the rusty metal. Jalani, he called out quietly. The only answer was the rush of water and the rustle of the wine. He stood before the dark entrance of the old mill, understanding clearly. There was no more going back. Inside, the mill smelled of dampness, mice, and old rags. He switched on the flashlight. The beam picked out fragments of brick, rusty metal, broken planks. The silence was so deep that every step echoed, as if someone were repeating my movements nearby. Jelani, he called louder. Answer me, baby. The reply came not as a voice, but a rustle from above. Then a quiet, I'm here. He climbed the wooden stairs, holding onto the railing. The steps groaned under my feet, but held. On the second floor, in a corner, sat my Jelani on an old overturned crate. Thin, pale, eyes red. He had aged in just a couple of days, looking not 19, but ke-30. He saw me and he jumped up. Grandma, his voice cracked. He messed up everything. I'm sorry. He walked over and he hugged him as he did when he was a child. Hush. He sighed. You're alive. That's what matters. We'll figure out the rest. Tell me everything. Don't leave anything out. He was trembling, but he started. 3 months ago, he met Rana tomorrow at a coffee shop near the college. Funny. Smart. A little older than him. She worked at the county recorder's office. She listened as he talked about our house and land, how worried he was that Naima was pressuring me to sell everything. She sighed. She understood, explaining haltingly that her grandmother had also been tricked and lost her land. She sighed. She could advise him on how to protect my rights. She asked for copies of the documents to review. He thought she was a good person. I'm an idiot. Then he saw her with Naima. Downtown, they sat in a cafe for 2 hours discussing something serious. When Jelani confronted Ranada about it afterward, she just laughed. She said he was a convenient boy. His voice was Horsiro. Naima had hired her even before they met. He said to gain his trust, extract all the information about me, the house, and the papers, and then help execute the scheme. He fell silent, staring at the floor. And then he asked. Then Ranata decided Naima wasn't paying her enough. Jelani pulled out a crumpled piece of paper. She was bragging that she had copies of all the forged papers, the correspondence, the recorded conversations. She said she would bleed Naima dry for years, or if things went sideways, she'd turn everyone in. The paper was a copy of a bank statement. 2 weeks ago, nearly $400,000 had been withdrawn in cash from Naima's account. For the hit, Jelani sighed daily, or for the person who got rid of Ranata, or both. He looked at the numbers, feeling a familiar heaviness under my ribs. That kind of money isn't withdrawn for a simple business deal. But why did she wear my coat? He asked. Jelani rubbed his face with his hand. On Sunday, when we were at your place, he sighed. Ranata stopped by. You went to the kitchen. Naima and she were whispering by the entrance. Ranata stole your red coat from the hall. Then yesterday morning at jam 5:30, Ranata called me. She was crying. She said she was going to the bus stop near your house, wearing your coat to wait for you. A&D tell you everything, give you the proof, but she was being followed. She was scared. If anything happened to her, he was supposed to warn you not to go out in red. Then there was a noise and the connection was lost. He sniffled. He wasn't fast enough. He whispered. He only managed to call you at Lima, that's all. He took a deep breath. She wanted to clear her conscience. He sighed, but she ran out of time. Jelani reached into his inner pocket. You have a flash drive. He placed the small black rectangle in my palm. Ranata gave it to me 2 days before. Said it was insurance. It has copies of the deeds, her messages with Naima, recordings of conversations. He opened some of it. Sir Aro forged power of attorney documents in your name. Deeds where you supposedly sign everything. There's correspondence where they discuss removing obstacles after the paperwork is filed. And Sir Aro also. He hesitated. Sir Aro letters about our police officer. Which officer? He was immediately wary. Ranata wrote that Naima was paying a man from our local department to push through the bogus deeds, turn a blind eye, and clean up the loose ends. She doesn't name the person, only our guy at the department. A chill ran down my spine. There's also a folder. He continued. It's encrypted and a file that won't open. Ranata sighed. That's the most important part. But you don't have the password. He tried. It's okay. We need to give this to Malik. He sighed. Let their experts pick it apart. Grandma, Jelani grabbed my hand. It says someone local is bought off. What if it's him? What if we hand it over and the flash drive disappears? He was about to answer, but a door slammed loudly downstairs. Then heavy footsteps on the wooden stairs. Not one person, but 2, maybe 3. We simultaneously switched off our flashlights. In the darkness, a faint light spilled into the doorway. A familiar uniform appeared on the threshold. Mora. A voice sighed. Don't be afraid. This is Lieutenant Colonel Jenkins. Sergeant Adero asked us to check the old mill. Your son reported you missing. We're looking for you. His eyes darted around. His mouth smiled. But there was no more warmth in the smile. Stop right, sir. He sighed. Don't come any closer. He took a couple of slow steps forward. Everything's fine. Softly. We're just checking in. We were told you might have come here. Your safety is our priority. Behind him, the shadows flickered. He only needed the silhouette to know they weren't your average patrolman. And then Naima stepped out from behind him without her sleek fur coat and the perfect title. Her hair was pulled back, her face bare, wearing a dark jacket and the boots, completely different. Real. Hello. Miss Sora, she sighed calmly. He asked you not to cause a scene, but you never know how to do things simply. Galani stepped between us. Get away from her. He sighed. Don't touch her, Galani. Naima shook her head. You let us all down. But he kept hoping until the last moment that you would wade into the mud deeper than necessary. You killed Ranada? He gasped. Oh. She sighed as if at a child's foolishness. He didn't kill anyone. I'm afraid of blood. Actually, that's what people who get paid for it out of her. She looked at me. But Anata genuinely made a mistake. She confused who was in charge here. Her voice became businesslike. Let's dispense with the theatrics. Galani has something that belongs to me. The flash drive. The documents. You quietly hand everything over now. We sign one clear agreement and you live out your life in the house like a decent human being. Or you continue playing detective. And then she didn't finish. But everything was clear. And then he asked. Then you're involved in a car accident tonight. Jenkins sighed calmly. Slippery road. Age? No more court would be surprised. And the house and the land are already not yours legally. He spoke matter-of-factly, as if reading a protocol. Naima smiled slightly. Think about it. You're alone. We are not. The police aren't officially here except for US. Time. Snow. The river nearby. Number one would be surprised. He felt Galani's palm grip mine even harder. And suddenly everything inside me became very level. You've made one miscalculation. He sighed. And what might that be? Naima narrowed her eyes. You think I'm an old fool. He lifted my phone. The screen was glowing. A red dot indicating recording. He turned it on as soon as you came up. He added, everything you've just said is no more longer just between us. It's on a cloud backup. Naima flinched. Jenkins took a step forward, his hand sliding smoothly toward his holster, and then the door to the floor burst open from a violent kick. Hands up! Everyone! Roared a familiar voice. Maliki Chadero, wearing a ballistic vest, tumbled into the hall. Behind him, two men in black with tactical gear. More people followed. Their guns were lowered but ready. Jenkins, don't even think about it. Malik sighed. Gun on the floor. The lieutenant froze. Then he slowly extended his arm sideways and he dropped the weapon. Sergeant Adero, this is a misunderstanding. He quickly stammered. He came out here on your verbal order. He wanted to. He didn't give you any such orders. Malik cut him off. And yes, we heard everything. He held up his phone. Miss, Sora is a smart woman. 10 minutes ago, she sent me a voice message. Where she was going, who she was meeting, and what to listen for. We listened. From the threats of the accident onwards, it's all recorded. Naima's face seemed to contort. You have no more right to do this, she began. But one of the tactical officers was already carefully twisting her arms and snapping on handcuffs. This is an illegal detention, she shrieked. I'm calling my attorneys. You can call them from county jail. Malik answered calmly. Try explaining to them why your police buddy was planning the murder of a witness and why your friend had a forged deed to the very witness as housed in her pocket. Jenkins mumbled something about not knowing that he was just providing security, but he was already being led away. Galani was shaking. He sat back down on the crate because my legs felt like jelly. Too. Malik came over and sat beside me. Human to human. Not official to citizen. Sora, you're true to form. He smiled wearily. You could have just told me everything normally. He did tell you. He reminded him in the voice message from the parking lot. He sighed if he went silent for 30 minutes. Drive out here with a team. You did. He nodded. He appreciated, though. You took a terrifying risk. He placed the flash drive in his palm. Everything Lanata collected is here. He sighed, but Galani can't open part of it. It's encrypted. We'll handle it. Malik sighed. Seriously, our Rite folks will dig into it. If what you're saying is true, this isn't just one bogus deed. This is a big dirty conspiracy. He held my gaze for a second. And you remember, Sora? He added quietly, "We got them beautifully tonight, but this isn't over yet. People like Naima have long reach, good lawyers, and a habit of crawling out of any hole. We left the mill just before dawn. The sky was turning purple. The river roared and the flashing lights chewed through the darkness. Galani sat next to me in the tracker, his head down. Grandma, I feel so guilty." He started. "Later." I sighed. "The main thing is you're with me." He started the car and he drove home with a procession of police cars carrying Naima and Jenkins stretching out in the rearview mirror. He honestly thought then that the worst was over, but within 24 hours he understood the war had only just begun. He returned home around sunrise, as if I'd been through a whole war. Not just a night. The house was quiet. The furnace had cooled down. The lamp above the table was dimly lit, as if it was exhausted from the events. Galani sat on a stool by the window, his face buried in his hands. Akono arrived half an hour later, ruffled, pale. He'd rushed over so fast he hadn't even taken off his jacket. "Mom," he choked out. "Malik called me. He said they took you. That Naima, that all of this they took her." I sighed. "And not just her." He slumped onto a chair. "I can't believe it. You lived with the woman for 20 years. How could he not see?" He brushed it off. "The important thing is we're alive. You, me, Galani, that's a lot." I even allowed myself to think. "Well, the worst is behind you." As usual, I was wrong too soon. Malik arrived at noon, quietly, not in uniform, wearing his old parka. He sat at the table chewing his mug of coffee with his hands. "Sora," he began directly without preamble. Our guys quickly checked the flash drive. What opens is good stuff, correspondence between Naima and Ranata, hints of forged documents, conversations about removing obstacles after the paperwork is finalized, Sarada recordings where your deed is discussed as a done deal, Sarada mentions of our guys. This hits Jenkins' head, but he asked because he saw the bet in his eyes. "But the mine folder is encrypted." He set down the mug. "The encryption is serious. Not a kid's password. Not a birthday." Our IT specialists were honest. "It's not a one-day job. It could take months. Maybe they won't crack it at all." He was silent. "Is what we have not enough for fraud, forgery of powers of attorney, and the abuse of office? More than enough?" He sighed. "For murder, it's circumstantial for now." Naima is denying everything. She had already claimed that Ranata was blackmailing her, that she was afraid and looking for help. Her lawyers are a shop. They're pushing the line that she's the victim. "Andy Jenkins, he openly threatened me." Jenkins is already singing. Malik smiled warily. "He sold out Ranata and Naima for the bogus deed and the bribes, but he's dodging the murder charge. He was only responsible for the papers. He didn't know about the rest. He's stalling. There's a chance to pressure him. But again, why need more than just your phone and my recordings?" He looked at him. "Are you saying she'll get away with it?" "I'm saying," he answered seriously, "that it's too early to relax." "And second, the court decided on her bail today. Her people already posted the bond. Naima will be free in a couple of hours. Under supervision, but free." A cold feeling spread through my hands. "She threatened me," he reminded him. "He filed for protection." He sighed. "We'll put a patrol car at the turnoff to your house. A restraining order, too. But you understand that someone with those connections and the kind of money likes to play the long game." As soon as he left, the phone rang again. Unknown city number. "Miss Sora," a cold female voice sighed. "This is Attorney Tiana Vance. I represent the interests of Naima Pharmacy." "I'm listening." I sighed. "I'm informing you that my client will be released shortly. She considers all accusations unfounded. She was a victim of manipulation by the deceased Morrow and the unscrupulous employees." The voice didn't waver. "Furthermore, we are preparing a civil lawsuit against you for slander, defamation, and causing emotional distress. The claim is for $30 million. You've lost your mind." I sighed calmly. "Let them sue. The court will sort it out." "It will sort it out," she readily agreed. "And what's more, a petition has already been filed with the court to review your mental competency. Due to your age, health status, and the unusual behavior over the past few days, we are petitioning for a medical evaluation and the appointment of a temporary guardian. Naima Pharmacy is being considered as the closest relative who already holds power of attorney to manage your affairs." "What power of attorney?" I asked. "A general one signed by you 3 months ago." She sighed with slight emphasis. "Notarize it. It didn't sign anything like that. Your signature is on the document." The lawyer sighed coldly. "The rest is a matter for the experts. Prepare yourself, Miss Sora. You'll be contacted. Have a good day." She disconnected. He stood in the middle of the kitchen, listening to the silence. Andy understood. Naima wasn't just after the land. She had decided to erase me as a person, declare me incompetent, take guardianship, and sell everything legally. "Mom," Akono looked out from the room. "What happened?" "They're going on the offensive. he sighed. They're filing a lawsuit and trying to have me declared mentally incompetent. Galani looked up. How? Why? Because I'm still alive. He answered. That's the biggest obstacle to them right now. As if in confirmation, an hour later, a short message arrived from an unknown number. Stop. Sign everything offer voluntarily. Forget about the recordings and the flash drive. You'll live out your days peacefully in the house. Go any further and you lose everything, including those you love. 24 hours. He showed the text message to Akono and Galani. They both turned pale. This is outright intimidation. Aono whispered. We need to go to Malik immediately. We have to go. Galani agreed. This isn't a game anymore. We will go. He agreed, but not with shouting. He sat down at the table, poured myself some coffee, took a sip, and he looked out the window at our shed, the garden, and the snow-covered strawberry patch. Naima was seriously banking on me getting scared and signing whatever she wanted, that I'd be more afraid of the evaluations in court than losing my home. Grandma, Galani sighed quietly. What if she really did clean everything up? What if she has access to those encrypted files from Ranade? What if the flash drive we have is empty? He had voiced what I'd been thinking all morning. If Naima has her own IT experts, if she managed to retrieve the real storage device from the recovered evidence. If what we have is just a decoy, then inside we find another way, not just the flash drive. What way? Akono sat opposite me. Mom, she has the best lawyers. They'll bet US. You see how fast they're moving. He looked at my son, then my grandson. We stopped playing by her rules. He sighed. She's used to old people being silent, trusting the papers, and being afraid of offices. He won't be silent. What are you going to do? Galani asked. He sat down the juk. For starters, he answered. I'm going to remember everything Anata might have hidden outside of a computer. He didn't know where to look yet, but he understood one thing. If Naima gave US exactly 24 hours to capitulate, seruas a location, a document, a truth she was still afraid of, and we had to find that place before her people got surfaced. You don't like being cornered, especially at my age. When you've lived for 60 years, buried loved ones, built things, survived the financial crisis, death, and the illness, the last thing you want is to hear that you're no longer competent. The three of us sat in the kitchen. The coffee was getting cold, the clock ticked, and the patrol car stood at the bend like a reminder. You're no longer just a grandma with a garden. You're a player in someone else's game. This is what we'll do. He sighed. Naima thinks she has everything under control. The documents, the lawyers, the evaluations. But there's one thing people like her always underestimate. What? Galani asked. The trail. He answered. It always leaves marks, especially where people have been gorging themselves for a long time. Galani pulled his laptop toward him. His fingers were trembling but working fast. What do you look for? He asked. Summit. He sighed. Her company. Summit Real Estate or Summit Invest. Whatever she called it. He reached for the stack of glossy brochures she had once pushed on me. Here. Summit Agency Individual Transaction Support Assistance for Elderly Homeowners During Relocation. Sounds beautiful. I'll search up in databases. Galani sighed. Transactions in the county offer the last couple of years, especially with lots in the houses where the owners were elderly. While he typed, Akono paced from the window to the door like an animal in a cage. Mom, he couldn't hold it in. I'm such a fool. So many years by her side and saw nothing. She presented it all as care to me. It'll be easier for Mom. We'll sign it offer to US and will help. And all along. Stop. He sighed calmly. This isn't the time to chew yourself out. You're alive and standing right here. That's great. Now help. Stop whining. He fell silent, sat down, and he locked his hands together. About 20 minutes later, Galani looked up, found something. He sighed quietly. 11 transactions in the last 18 months. Mostly houses and lots around the county seat and in the neighboring county. Almost all the sellers were elderly, 70 and up. And what? He asked. And this? He sighed, staring at the screen. At least 4 of them died within 9 months of the sale. 2 car accidents. 1 fall down the stairs. 1 heart attack. The silence became heavier. Akono guessed. It can't be. It can be. He sighed. Tinaima. This is just a tool. The papers are clean. The doctors wrote what they wrote. The children are busy. The neighbors don't care. It's only a coincidence so far. Galani tried to remain rational. But it's too big of a coincidence. We need to tell Malik. Akono sighed, already reaching for his phone. We will. He nodded. But first, let's gather it into a single folder. Not a feeling, but a list. Galani printed the tables and he stapled them to Naima's brochures. He called Malik. Sora, I'm in interrogations. Make it quick. He answered warily. It won't be quick. He sighed. You don't just have my house. You have a pattern. 11 elderly people. Summit. Similar deaths. Galani found everything. I'm not making this up. He was silent. And Mila to the department inbox. He sighed. Andy, here's another thing. Tama. Roat 2 p.m. is the hearing about your competency. Naima Andy, her lawyers rushed it. Judge Marcus Hill. Remember him? Not personally. I know the name. A fair man. But he'll go by the book based on the papers. I'll try to get you a quick meeting with him before the hearing. 10-15 minutes. No more guarantees. Get it? I sighed. I'll handle the rest. What are you planning now? He asked. It's legal. Malik, he answered. For now. An hour later, he called back. He'll see you at pukul 1. He sighed in his chambers officially. Sora, don't have a meltdown or put on a show. Calmly, stick to the facts. I'm too old for meltdowns. I sighed. Thank you. While we were talking, Galani hadn't stopped working. Grandma, there's one more thing. He sighed. He dug deeper into Summit and its associated firms. He found the final beneficiary. Naima, yes, but not alone. Of course. He sighed. She needed a brain and a cover. Galani turned the screen toward me. The co-owner, Preston Minton, attorney. He recognized the name before he even finished reading it. Our family lawyer. Akono, sighed Deli, clenching his fists. The one who was so concerned about Mom at the precinct today. He's been with them from the beginning. Galani sighed quietly. His firm handled almost all of Summit's big deals. He filed the paperwork, consulted, covered up. Andy today came not to defend you, but to see what you would say. He felt a strange sense of calm. Not surprise, but confirmation. Perfect. He sighed. Now we know both their faces. We had just started discussing how to organize everything in a folder for the judge when the phone rang again. Unknown number. He put it on speakerphone. I'm listening, Sora. A soft, overly controlled voice sighed. It's Naima. You're fast. He sighed. The handcuffs haven't even cooled off yet. She chuckled. Don't worry. They were only on briefly. The investigation is mistaken. The court will sort it out. I'm calling you human to offer a final chance. That's interesting. He sighed. Go on. Tomorrow is the hearing about your competency. She began smoothly. We have the gift deed, the power of attorney, doctor's assessments, and the witness statements about your unstable behavior. She emphasized the word. My lawyers are confident the court will rule in my favor, which means you become your legal representative. Andy then, well, you understand? You'll sell the house, the land, everything you can, he prompted. Andy sent me to our facility for observation. He will ensure you receive dignified care. She sighed coldly, but at this stage, he proposed peace. You withdraw all claims. Stop saying unnecessary things. You confirm in court that you signed the papers voluntarily, but that you are tired of the scandal. I'll arrange a room for you in a assisted living facility. You live peacefully. Galani can go to school and everyone is safe. Andy, if not, he asked. Her voice hardened. Then you lose. You are declared incompetent. You become the guardian. The house is sold legally, and you will no longer have the right to speak. Not in court. Not at home. The kitchen was so silent you could hear Galani grit his teeth. Naima. He sighed calmly. One question, if he may. Of course. Did Renata scream when she died? A pause. You don't know what you're talking about. She sighed coldly. You know about Summit? He continued. About the Subless transactions. About the old people who suddenly died. About Jenkins. About Minton. Do you really think you're the first person who decided to take the land from the elderly and turn it into a housing development? Prove it. She snapped. You have nothing. The flash drive. Hilarious. It's been empty for a long time. Everything that could harm me was deleted. The people who handled it know how to work. He looked at Galani. He clenched his fists even tighter. So, our flash drive might indeed have been incomplete. If you're so confident, he sighed. Why are you calling? Just watch me get declared incompetent. Another short pause. I'm giving you a chance to get out of the game. Naima sighed, dropping the pretense. Because I respect Akono once. Think about it until tomorrow. Hindi some advice. Don't try blackmail. You're not at the right age or with the right experience. Hindi you underestimate that 63 isn't kindergarten. He sighed. See you tomorrow. Naima. He disconnected. Akono sat sarpali. Mom. She shirilikan. Shikan. He nodded. If we sit around and wait, but you just laid out the whole Summit scheme to her. Galani whispered. If her reach is long, she'll start covering her tracks faster. That's the point, he replied. Let her jump. When a predator gets nervous, it makes mistakes. Grandma. Galani leaned closer. Did you really say something about extra copies? That Renata gave me something else? No more. He sighed. But Naima doesn't know that now. And if Renata really had a backup stash, Naima will rush to find it. And the US? Akono asked. He thought for a moment. Let's start with Ranata. He sighed. She didn't just fall from the sky. Before she was Morrow, she was Farina Harrington. He nodded toward the printouts. The granddaughter of Margarita Harrington, the one whose homestead in the Red Penis area burned down after Asale. Galani was already typing. Got it. He sighed after a minute. Farina Harrington. Then a name change. A move. Margarita Harrington left Hoggaland. Then a refusal of inheritance, then a legal dispute, then everything drifted to Summit's entities. The homestead has been tied up in a dispute for 9 years. A legal swamp? He sighed. Can't touch it, can't sell it, but outsiders won't go near it either. If Ranata wanted to hide something for a long time, Galani sighed quietly, you couldn't find a better place. He stood up. Get ready. He sighed. We're going to Red Penis now. Akono jumped up. Mom, it's already getting that. The roads. Naima has exactly 24 hours to think about it. He interrupted him. Do you think her people will sit around until morning? If she believes there's another stolen device, she'll send someone, sir. You want to be fast. We need to warn Malik. Galani sighed. Just a quick note. We will warn him. He nodded. But we're leaving now. He picked up the phone and he quickly dialed Malik. We're going to Red Penis to the old Harrington homestead. There's reason to believe Ranata's stashy, sir. If you don't hear from me in 3 hours, mobilize everyone. He answered immediately. Are you crazy? I'm sending a patrol car after you. No more heroics. No more once being a hero. He muttered. You just don't want to wait until I'm a vegetable. 20 minutes later, we were speeding down the deck highway. He was driving the old tracker. Next to me, Galani had the laptop on his knees. In the back, Auno was silently gritting his teeth. In the distance, at a respectful distance, the patrol car kept patchy. The sky was overcast and the snow began to fall in fine dust. Headlights picked out snow drifts, black tree trunks, and the sparse road signs. Grandma, Galani sighed quietly. What if there's nothing, sir? Then we'll think of something else. He sighed. But I've lived too long to believe in such coincidences. Ranata wasn't stupid. She knew Naima would eventually betray her and he left a threat for someone. For who? Akono asked. For whoever survives, he answered. We'll see if we survived. After an hour and a half, the deck shell of a burnt house and the silhouette of an old shed appeared against the white field. He shook the engine. The wind whipped the snow across the ground. The air was damp and beating. The patrol car stopped a little distance away. Well, he sighed, opening the door. Let's go find the thing that made one woman a killer, another a corpse. Andy made them decide to label me as crazy. Andy only as we got closer to the shed did he notice fresh tire tracks on the roadside, not from our car, Andy, not from the patrol car. Someone had already been here before us or was following close behind. The shed in Red Penis looked like it was held up by a wing and a prayer. The Harrington house had burned down to the brick, a black shell, empty window sockets, but the shed was leaning gray. Planks were missing in places. The roof sagged, but it's still like a memory no one needs, except for those who know what's hidden inside it. We went in. It smelled of old hay, dust, and dampness. The flashlight beam swept across empty stalls, rusty tools, and cobwebs. Where would you hide your last words, Ranata? He murmured. Galani shone the light on the walls. Akono hovered closer to the door, looking around. Grandma, everything is rotten in here, he whispered. Mice and squatters could have gotten to it. Be quiet. He sighed. Don't interrupt my listening. He walked along the stalls, running my fingers over the wood, and suddenly he saw it carved with a knife on one partition. Starlight. For a second, he didn't understand. Then Galani flew over, examining the inscription in the flashlight beam. That's her horse, he sighed. The article had a picture. Ranata de as a child on a grey horse named Starlight. So this was her stall. He crouched down, touching the board at the bottom. One plank moved as if it hadn't been nailed all the way down. Hold the light. He sighed. He pulled at the edge. The board came away. Behind it a narrow opening and in it a tightly wrapped plastic bundle. My hat lurched. He carefully pulled it out. Inside the plastic was a small metal box and inside that a flash drive and a folded piece of paper. Galani unfolded it. The handwriting was shaky, angry. If you are reading this, you have either completely messed up or I am dead. Naima Famasi destroyed my grandmother and he forced me to help her. He collected everything so that one day he could sink her. Here are the originals, recordings, deeds, money transfers, the scheme of payments, the real names. The password is Starlight ke-9997. Don't believe any document she presents. Use this or she will continue. Signed, Verena Harrington. Galani stared at the flash drive as if it were a hand grenade. This is it? He whispered. It's all here. If it's real. It's real. He sighed. It has pain and anger in it. That's not something you fake for a game. The sound of an engine drifted in from outside. Not just one, Several were exchanged glances, but he sighed quietly. Into the shadows, we retreated to the back of the shed. Through the cracks in the planks, we could see cars pulling into the yard. One was Naima's familiar white Lexus. The second a black sedan. The Sardel fun. The headlights went out. Doors slammed. The wind carried their voices. I managed to shove the flash drive into my inner pocket and he snapped the small box shut. Naima appeared in the doorway of the shed. The mask of concern was gone. Her face was hot. Her eyes cold. Next to her was Preston Minton, as neat as if he were in his office, but without his smile. Behind them were two broad-shouldered men. I'd only seen guys like them in the news. Not hunters, not farmers. Mrs. Sora, Naima's voice chewed through the cold air. You're getting ahead of yourself. This is private property. You are currently engaged in theft and trespassing. He stepped forward. No more sense in hiding now. This is the Harrington family property. He sighed. Your private property is still tied up in court. Andy, what are you doing here? I am the executive of the wall, she answered clearly. Everything is legal. Andy, this is the second time you've broken into a place you weren't invited to. Andy, the second time you've provoked a dangerous situation. That looks very bad for your reputation before tomorrow's hearing. Minton nodded as if confirming a legal reference. Let's put it this way. He sighed softly in his familiar lawyer's voice. You have a certain starting device. We offer to resolve this civilly. You hand over everything you found and stop the charade. In return, we guarantee you a peaceful life. A peaceful life? He scoffed. In a locked word. Don't exaggerate. He sighed wearily. You are not in a position to negotiate. Glennie stepped forward, but he held him back with my hand. What we found here, he sighed, does not belong to you. These are the words of your Anada, the woman you used. Indeed, judging by how quickly you rushed out here, you are very afraid that those words will be seen by the wrong eyes. Naima smiled. You overestimate yourself, she sighed. Indeed, the flesh drives. All the truly dangerous information has been under control for a long time. What you are holding is garbage, but what you are doing is a crime. I'm giving you one last chance. Hand it over and we will go our separate ways. The two broad-shouldered men took a step closer. The patrol car was not visible outside the fence. He noticed it and set the panic aside. Just one thing. He sighed. Do you still think I'm an old woman who doesn't know how to use a phone? He pulled out my mobile, turning the screen toward them. The red bed was visible. Broadcasting in progress. He turned on the live stream as soon as you arrived. He sighed. Everything you are saying is already being listened at the precinct, at the county office, and at a couple of news desks, plus a copy on the cloud. So, if you take one step closer to me right now, it will look very good in court. The corner of Naima's mouth twitched. Minton spun around at a sound. Somewhere far away, sirens wailed. Are you bluffing? Hey hissed. You'll check for yourselves in a couple of minutes, he replied. One of the goons stepped forward, but Naima raised her hand. Stop. She looked at me with such hatred that anyone else's legs would have buckled. I'm tired of her status. You don't understand who you're messing with. She sighed quietly. You are destroying a business we worked on for years. The people involved with us will not forgive you for this. The people involved with you, he sighed calmly, will soon be deciding who gets the top bunk in prison. The sirens were closer now. Several cars simultaneously burst into the yard, flashing lights, black tactical vests, shouting, freeze. Everyone. Malik's voice. Don't move. One of the officers blocked the exit. Others instantly spread out across the perimeter. Everything was executed like a movie, only colder and quieter. Naima Famasi, Malik sighed loudly, stepping forward. You are under arrest on suspicion of organizing major fraud schemes, forgery of documents, and the attempted witness intimidation. We'll add the rest as we go. You have no more light? Minton exploded. This is illegal. We have warrants, documents. You can show the warrants in your cell. Malik cut him off. We have audio recordings of your threats and the witness testimony. And as you see it, you drove yourselves light to the spot where one of your key witnesses from a pest case died. Coincidences happen, but not this often. They snapped handcuffs on Naima. She flinched, tried to twist free, but they calmly took her arms. For a second, her gaze met mine. There was no more hysteria, only cold calculation, frantically flipping through options. This is not the end, she sighed quietly. You don't understand how these things work. I understand perfectly well, he replied. Nandi, now those higher up than you will understand too. Malik came up to us. Sora, the flash drive you found here. He sighed. Andy the note officially through the protocol. He took out the box and he handed it to him. Galani stood tall next to me as if shedding some of his guilt. There's a password on it. He sighed. She wrote it herself. It's not our guess. All the better. Malik nodded briefly. If everything is confirmed, These aren't just the words of an elderly woman, it's a confession from the inside. The police were putting the detainees in cars. The patrol that was supposed to cover US arrived only after the fact, breathless and apologetic. Malik just waved his hand. He stood by the shed, feeling not even joy, but I have kind of relief, as if a huge stone had been moved, but hadn't yet fallen. Grandma, Galani sighed quietly. We did it. He looked at Naima, who was being escorted into the car. We'll see. He sighed. For now, we just dragged her into the light. Malik turned to me, quieter now, dropping his professional tone. You have to understand, he sighed. We have a serious case in our hands now. If that flash drive really contains what you say, not only Naima and Minton will go down, so will the people who paid them. They won't just surrender. He nodded. Malik. He sighed. I've lived my whole life among people who don't just surrender. We'll handle it. He was about to respond, but one of the operatives called him off. They had already started looking at the fast files. Malik walked away. He was left alone for a second, next to Galani and Ano amidst the snow and the odd planks, and he thought, maybe now this is truly a turning point. The phone in my pocket vibrated briefly. A text message from Anne and no number. Don't celebrate too soon. You've opened something that was better left untouched. Now you owe US. He looked at the screen at the flickering letters and he understood that the loudest part of the story was still ahead. He showed the text message to Malik immediately. No more heroics. He just frowned. The chain goes higher than we thought then. He sighed, putting the phone in his pocket. The number is clearly bogus. But the fact is, Sora, this isn't just about your house anymore. Somehow, he felt calmer. When everything is called what it is, it's easier to breathe. The paper war began next, but it wasn't against me. Experts cracked the flash drive from the shed overnight. The password worked. He only saw a fraction of what Ranata had managed to collect. Recordings of conversations with Naima and Minton. Numbers, schemes, lists of people who received payoffs, scans of bogus powers of attorney with forged signatures, financial transactions through shell companies, and the main evidence, a video. In one of the files, Ranata had recorded Naima with a hidden camera. She was calmly talking about how the elderly would die soon anyway, how the land shouldn't be wasted on those who no longer understand what they own. It also contained details about Margarita Harrington's story, the fire, and the hints about a solved problem through a contact inspector. Yes, Anata herself was part of the scheme, but she had also left a trail of breadcrumbs so that one day those same crumbs would flood everyone. The county investigation unit officially took over. People in suits, tactical teams, A&D security experts rotated through my house. Naima, Mitten, Jenkins, A&D a couple of other names were charged with new felonies. Bail was no more longer an option. The calls from Naima's lawyers became less frequent and more cautious. A&D then ceased entirely. The case about my mental competency, which Naima had so vigorously launched, slammed shut. The day after we returned from Red Penis, Judge Hill himself called. His voice was dry. Official, Mrs. Sora, you have reviewed the new materials. He sighed. The petition for your incompetency has been withdrawn by the petitioner's representatives. Given the clear signs of abuse, I see no more grounds for such measures from my side. In plain language, Naima tried to brand me as crazy, and in the end, she was the one facing criminal charges. I thanked him without bowing low. Just thank you for looking at the facts, not the age. But that didn't mean my heart was light. Akono filed for divorce himself without any prompting from me. We sat at the same kitchen table where Naima had recently spread her beneficial proposals. Akono held the papers in his hands. Mom, he signed all of this. He sighed. Not the bogus ones, but the real divorce papers. He can't be near her anymore. Not after what came out. He spoke calmly, but his hands were shaking. He lived with a person for 20 years who was killing old people for land. He whispered. He brought her into your house, seated her at your table, allowed her to push you towards these deals, and he stayed silent. You didn't know. He sighed. You should have. He insisted. You felt it, and he sighed you were being dramatic. He chose her, not you. He sighed. Akono. Everyone has their foolishness. You've already paid for yours. Now live in a way that your son can rely on you. Stop apologizing. Start fixing. He nodded. His eyes were moist. But for the first time in a long time, they held a living resolve, not resignation. Galani was slower to recover. He moved in with me almost immediately. He temporarily dropped out of college and he quit his job. During the day, he helped with chores. In the evening, he sat staring into space. One day, while we were sorting through the old shed, he broke down. Grandma, I still feel like an idiot. Why? He asked. He loved her. He sighed quietly. Ranada, the person who turned out not to exist. He believed every word. He gave her the documents, showed her your papers, he handed them everything myself. If he hadn't done that, she wouldn't have been so fast. Stop. He sighed, sitting down next to him. You were a boy and you were facing a trained predator. You chose to trust. She chose to exploit. That is her crime, not yours. But without me, they wouldn't have had half the information. But you turned back later. He reminded him. You saw her whispering with Naima. You became suspicious. You got the flash drive. You called me. At pukul 5 am, you have a house and a life right now because you didn't stay silent then. He was silent for a long time. Sometimes he missed her. He confessed. Not the real one, but the one she pretended to be. That's normal. He replied. You can grieve for an illusion. Just don't stay sad for too long. He nodded, burying his face in my shoulder like he did as a child. He stroked his head and he thought that some wounds are healed not by the court but by time. He persuaded him to see a counselor at the county seat. Not because he was broken, but because too much had been piled on him. He resisted at first, but then he went. He came back quiet, but his gaze was a little clearer. The investigation widened. On the news, they called it the largest real estate fraud and the elderly murder scheme in the region in recent years. He turned it off without listening further. He already knew the names. Besides Naima, Minton and Jenkins, they brought in 2 more officials, one registrar, one appraiser, and a couple of small dummy directors. Just like in the text message, now you all owe US. They weren't referring to me, but to those at the top of the pyramid. He was treated as a key witness on one hand, respectfully. On the other, he knew he was now a thorn in many people's side simply because he survived and he didn't shut up. One of the most difficult encounters happened at the county court during a hearing for reparations, as they called it, for the victims' families. A woman in her 50s approached me wearing a severe jacket, but with kind eyes. Miss Sora? She asked. Yes. He nodded. I'm Katrina. She sighed. Margaret Harrington's niece. Very nice and, he sighed. I'm sorry for your loss. He sighed honestly. For both of them. Katrina nodded. Thank you, she replied. He just wanted to say I'm glad you weren't afraid. My mother? Margarite. She wouldn't have believed anyone then. And me? She shrugged. We all believed the pretty words just like you. Only you brought everything to light. At least some of our people will find peace. She paused and added. Andy about Verena. She wasn't born a monster. I'm telling you that as someone close to her. She was broken, but what she did afterward, that was her choice. Your truth is what's needed now. We stood in silence, 2 strangers connected by a single chain of other people's sins. Spring crept in and noticed. The snow melted. The ground dried and he stubbornly started working in the garden beds. He deliberately planted a new strawberry patch twice the size of the old one. Not afraid. Gladys smirked. Too much symbolism. We're survivors, he answered. We have the light to our symbols. He smiled a little. Genuinely, Malik started visiting more often. Sometimes on official business, sometimes just casually with pies from his wife. One evening we were sitting on the porch. He was drinking coffee looking out at the field. You have news? He sighed. Let's hear it. He nodded. He was used to his news being either bad or too important to postpone. Naima. He started shoot ideal. She's giving testimony, selling out everyone she worked with. Minton, the officials, the police. In exchange, she's asking for a reduced sentence. She's facing life anyway, but she hopes to bargain for some humane conditions. Andy what? He asked. Andy, some of the people she's naming are still free. He sighed. They're bigger players. Their connections go beyond our county. Andy, they are very unhappy that one elderly woman, Andy, her grandson, opened it their entire operation. It's nice to be a legend. He smirked. He didn't smile. Sora, I'm serious. He sighed. While the investigation and the trial are ongoing, you and the Galani are under protection. No more solo heroics. Let us do our jobs. You think they'll try something? He asked calmly. I hope not. He answered honestly, but the text message you received wasn't written from a jail cell or our payphone. Andy, it wasn't Naima. It's someone higher up. People like that have a simple logic. Eliminate the source of the problem. The wind rustled the old porch planks. In the distance, a patrol car's headlights swept by. He took a sip of my coffee. So, while Naima is selling everyone out, Galani and Andy are sitting ducks in the yard. He summarized. Appealing. He won't let anyone hurt you. Malik sighed firmly. But you have to understand the stakes have been raised. He nodded. You understand? He laughed, leaving behind silence and the blinking light of the patrol car at the bend. Galani came out onto the porch, sat next to me, covered himself with his jacket. What did he say? He asked. That we're officially getting in someone's way now, he replied. Andy, we're going to be guarded. Doesn't sound very reassuring. At least it's honest. He sighed. So well, if we're bothering someone this much, it means it wasn't for nothing. He smirked, but his eyes were tense. In the twilight, Outhouse looked like a small island of light in the darkness. The field around us was open, the road easily visible. The patrol car, just one vehicle, and somewhere outside in the darkness, were people whose names he didn't yet know, but who were very upset that one old woman wasn't afraid to lift her head. He didn't turn off the lights for a long time that night. He listened to the floorboards creak, the wind rustle outside the window, and the occasional cars passing on the highway. And caught myself thinking, we had already survived the worst, or maybe the main challenge was still ahead. It all ended not with fireworks or applause, but with papers, waiting in hallways, endless signatures, and weariness in my bones. And 9 months after the million red penis, Naima was convicted. No more pretty legal jargon. Murder, conspiracy, major fraud, forgery, witness intimidation, organized crime, life sentence. Not because she was a villain from a TV show, but because the evidence was too plentiful and too varied. The flash drives, the recordings, the money, the people she so confidently considered her own. Once they realized she couldn't be saved, everyone started talking for themselves. Minton received a substantial sentence, a serious one, without any chance of probation. Jenkins and a couple of other corrupt officers also went to prison. Some officials managed to wriggle free. A few avoided real time due to health reasons. That's life. Perfectly just endings don't happen. In the verdict, he was listed bettingly, victim and the witness. The decision regarding the house was separate. All the forged deeds, powers of attorney, and wills were declared invalid. The title registration was returned to my name. No more gifts, no more conditions, just as it should have been from the start. Summit was dismantled. The shell companies were seized and the assets were liquidated. The families of the deceased were paid compensation. Small amounts laughable when weighed against lost lives that some sing. People left the courthouse not happy, but with the feeling that their parents were officially no more longer considered fools who had only themselves to blame. Akono finalized the divorce quietly. He didn't fight, didn't scream, didn't seek revenge. He just exited the marriage as he should have years ago. He moved closer to me, got a simpler office job, not a hero, not a avenger. Just an ordinary man in his 50s who once trusted the wrong person too much. Now he comes over on weekends, helps with chores, sometimes just sits silently on the porch. Sometimes he apologizes. You tell him the same thing every time. Live a good life. That will be his apology. Naima was shown on TV recently, a short shot from the courthouse. He recognized her only by her eyes. Everything else seemed erased. He didn't turn off the TV or spit at the screen. He just finished my coffee. He didn't feel any pleasure from her punishment. It was too late for joy. They had managed to do too much before this. Galani quietly got back on his feet. He saw the counselor, talked to his buddies at the class, and then came to me. Grandma, I want to go back to school, but not as the idiot who fell into that mess. I want to go back as someone who knows what documents are and where they can lead people. I'm going to study law part-time. Work here. Study, sir. He just shrugged. The main thing is don't punish yourself. You'll figure out the rest. He registered at his father's place, but lived mainly with me. During the day, he studied and helped with the chores. In the evening, he sat at his laptop, no more longer with Askemer's flash drives, but with the criminal code. Sometimes he complained about how many loopholes there were. He just smirked. It's good that you can see them in advance now. He didn't bring up Renata in conversation, but he know that it still hurts inside, and that's normal. A person who doesn't feel anything is a walking stone. Those scare me more. Things are simple for me. Formally, I'm under protection. A patrol car parks at the bin sometimes. One of the detectives drops by for coffee on official business. Malik calls asking, is anyone bothering you? At first, he received a few strange messages, hints, veiled threats. Then it quieted down or moved to other neighborhoods. He used to look over my shoulder. Yes, and listened to noises at night. But then he got tired. To be honest, after 63, life is no more longer perceived as a fragile china set. You don't wish this on anyone, but living in constant fear isn't my style either. The farm survived. The garden, the old house, the shed. Everything is in place. Only I've become more attentive to the paperwork. I go to the county center myself. Glasses on the tip of my nose, reading every line. If anyone rushes me, it's just formalities. I smile and I say, then you can wait. I tell my neighbors the story without any sensationalism, just the facts. Don't sign anything in a rush. Don't be shy about asking questions. Take someone you truly trust with you. They listen in different ways. Some nod, some wave it off. That's their light. I've given my warning. In the spring, he planted strawberries again. This time, the rows were straight and neat. Galani helped. We didn't have a competition to see who could eat the most, like when he was a child. We're too old for that. But when the first berries ripened, we sat on the porch, washed a few in a bowl, and ate them in silence. They're good, He sighed. Andy, they shouldn't be scary, he replied. The berries aren't to blame for anything. We laughed. Not loudly, just human to human. People sometimes ask me about the moral of the story. A young, polished detective once came by and he asked, Mrs. Sora, why do you think you didn't break? Everyone around you was either silent or believed the lies, but you stood your ground. He thought about it and he answered honestly, because he have something to lose, and he know the value of what I've worked for my whole life. A home is made not of brick, but of people and memory. And because too many times in my life, people have assumed he was stupider than I am. He got tired of it. It's not about being a hero. It's about the habit of fighting for what's mine. He didn't become an internet celebrity after all this. He didn't run for office. He didn't start a foundation. He lived quietly. He wake up early, light the furnace, grumble about prices, make jam, and he go to the county seat on a schedule. He know without looking at a clock. The only difference is that now when someone starts talking to me with a condescending tone, oh, at your age, he looked them calmly in the eye. And if he see even a shadow of Naima's tactics, sir, he very politely send them on their way. I'm not afraid of loneliness. Elijah has been gone a long time. Friends have either moved away or passed on. I have a couple of neighbors left. My son, my grandson, and my home. A home where the walls remember me young, not just the woman I am today. Sometimes in the evening, I go out onto the porch, sit down, and listen. Silence, the road, that barking somewhere, a train. It's enough for me, not because everything is perfect. It's not. Naima isn't the only one of her kind, and she won't be the last. Not everyone will go to jail. Not everyone will be reimbursed. Some will still walk away with other people's homes in their pockets and a clean record. But he kept my pacifist. He fought my battle. He can't fight everyone else's battles for them. I'm too old for that, and it's not my obligation. If he had to summarize, my conclusion is one thing. At our age, it's very convenient for people to think of us as soft targets. But men of us have skin tougher than your armor. We've survived more than you've had time to dream up. And if you corner us, we know how to do more than just cry. We know how to count, how to remember, and how to speak up. He simply didn't stay silent at one time. The rest was handled by those whose job it is. That summer, the strawberries ripened profusely. Galani came back after finals. Akono arrived with a bag of groceries. We sat at the table, the three of us, eating berries with sugar. Number one made toast to just us our victory. Akono just sighed quietly. Mom, thank you for being you. He shrugged. He just kept you from being homeless, he replied. He live my life the way you live it. And that perhaps is my new beginning. No more movie-style happy ending. Just the life they tried to take and he held on to. And that is enough. Did you like the story? And which city are you listening from? Let's meet in the comments. If you like the story, you can support me by sending a super thanks so I can keep bringing more stories like this. Thank you so much for your sweet support. I'm looking forward to your comments on the story. On the screen, you can see 2 new life stories that I highly recommend. There's so much more on my channel. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next life story with love and respect.